Hey YouTube, welcome to Universe X, or welcome back, depending on whether you're subscribed or not. But today, I am going to go over my tournament, like just my tournament run, over in Philly for the regionals. Why? Because I put out a survey, and that survey, I'm gonna look right now, because I don't wanna, right now, I'll just stop recording if this changed. But I put out a survey saying, would y'all be interested in a tournament report from Philly or not? And the options were Your, which is at a resounding 66%, NAR, which is at 11%, Time Has Passed Buddy, which is at 9%, and then Nobody Out Pizzas the Hut, which is basically yes. It literally says on the survey it's basically yes, and that's at 15%. So it looks like 71% of y'all said that I should do this. So, I am. So that being said, we have a little bit to go over. Before we jump into the tournament report, the matchups, how they went, my overall view of the tournament, and my thanks and shoutouts, I do want to get out of the way just the normal go-to stuff. First and foremost, this channel is constantly growing. We are so close to the 2K mark, and so I want to say that if you want to see more content from me by the end of this video, think about going down and hitting that subscribe button. If you're returning but you haven't hit it yet, think about still doing it. And if you're already here, already subscribed, thank you for supporting the channel. Make sure everybody likes the video so it can trend, and we'll keep it going in Universe X. But as for newcomers, I do want to just say congratulations for joining the UniX fam. And those newcomers are as follows. This is going to be a little bit because the weekend in Philly did get me a little bump in subs. So yeah, we're looking at Rojo SV, Dennis Miranda, Carboxide, Jace, what is this, Legaspi? Jace Legaspi, The Fatherless One, Ty Wills, Devilside 21 RS, Roby Chapel, JG, Bulbasaur, Andrew Morrow, Henry Jacobs, Ken Hulsman, Grim Reaper 96, Q8389, another Andrew Morrow, thank you for the double tap, sir, Ciro Tentila, or is it Tenila? I don't know whether or not you pronounce it with the double L's, and I don't know. And then you got Undead Musician and Jay Bertolino. So, thank you all for joining Universe X. Thank you for supporting the channel. Glad to have you here, and we're going to keep it rocking. Past that, I do want to say I do have a link in the description for Pro Play Games. And on Pro Play Games, you can buy singles and sealed of Dragon Ball Super, Digimon, and you can pre-order One Piece. Right now, I am trying to bolster up just my general traffic from my channel to their website in order to further, the endeavors of me trying to get slightly sponsored work, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to browse, if you want to buy these singles, I would just highly suggest you do me a favor, go in the description, click the link to PPG, and look around. You're gonna find something you like, and you're gonna find it at a good price. They are very, very good sellers. They also happen to be the best TO we have in the game. Hosting Nats this year, officially. So it is what it is. They're doing big things, and they're gonna keep doing big things. So if you wanna support Pro Play Games for being the best tournament organizer and actually hosting everything that pretty much matters for our games, and you wanna support me by clicking my link under the channel, go do that. And then last but not least, we have a Discord. In this Discord, we talk about everything, all these card games, talk about gacha games like Dragon Ball Legends, Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle. We have channels for other games. We have channels for pretty much anything. Even Gundams, man, we got channels for everything. So if you want to join there, join in the link, and then just choose your role based on the emoji you want to click into, and then you'll be able to view the proper channels. So with that, let's get into the tournament. All right, so the very, very, very first match I have here, and one more time, shout out to Pro Play Games for hosting another smooth tournament with just it was just ran well, George was in his bag, making sure everything ran smoothly. We got Mr. Patterson just going in, being the best head judge. We had a lot of people doing their thing. And I also got to meet a gajillion people from the Discord, so many people that just made my day better, that would come up and be like, hey, I love the content. Hey, it's good to meet you for the first time. I even played a lot of them. It was really cool just to see that many people kind of come together and put faces and voices to the names I've seen online. Then also shout out to content creators. We had a fair amount there. We had Tony from Super Players. We had Joey Palladino from Crossworlds. All of Crossworlds was in attendance too, so you got to see just people I just generally like seeing at events. Jordan, MVP, MVP Jordan. You've got Frank, you've got Rios. There's just a lot of people there. I got to see Homeboy Mike. There's actually more. Trevor actually topped. Broken TCG, give them a shout out too. We had so many people there, and it was just a really, really cool event to have. Now, that being said, now we're gonna get into my rounds. It was an overall pretty good day, and I know everybody's gonna be salty about their losses, but I went 7-2. And my losses, I am a little bit peeved, but I'm going to get into why I'm a little bit peeved. And of course, everybody's going to be peeved at losses. But yeah, let's go down the list. Round 1, I faced Shenron, and I faced homie Matt Juba. I had never met him before, but I had sold to him. I had sold a mass amount of Fest cards. Like every Fest card I picked up from Miami, I sold to him pretty much. And so that was really cool to meet a person I already interacted with before. He played Sin, and the way Sin ends up kind of working for Gamma is that you are able to start pushing them. It's really hard for them to stick a 9-drop because Let the Battle Begins can shuffle the 4-drop, and they lose the ball. They have to send the ball to the grave to get the 4-drop. So when you end up hitting them with Let the Battle Begin, you end up just shuffling that down and kind of breaking the combo. The other part is generally if they're on curve, they can tap your leader down once, which Matt did do. The first turn, but after you have your Android Unison online, it's very hard for them to take it out early game, and so you're going to be able to, anytime you see Let the Battle Begins, you have outs. Other hard part is I main 4 Realm of the Gods, and of course we main 4 of the Android, the dual color Android that's Energy Exhaust gets negated, and then we main 4 Cell. So 9-drops don't stay on board. In fact, a lot of things don't stay on board. And then the hard part is once you get to the point of the game where you can tap 6, a single Dirty Burst will stop everything pretty much from attacking. And then after said, well, all the things that matter. And then after that said Dirty Burst, your Cell resolving is going to cause you to bottom deck everything, not put it to the grave. And that's going to make their next tap 6 potentially very much so weaker. So in the best of 1, yeah, that's pretty much the game plan for Sin. Constant pressure and holding Dirty Burst, and making sure that I can survive their play. Gamma can comfortably sit around 6 life in a lot of games if you are into your draws well and you are protecting yourself. So that pretty much just turned out how that went. Game 2, or round 2, I was paired up against Amani, and that kind of sucks because Amani and Nick were my main testing partners preparing for this event. And so I was very, very well versed in the cooler matchup. I'm very, very confident in the cooler matchup. But on a couple of different levels, not only does Amani know how I play, but he's also just a better player than me. So it was a combination. He knows how I play, and the opening turns, you can actually check this one out on the stream because our other local homie, Zach, decided that we need to be on stream since we're facing each other because why not? Fun game. But I missed my Unison for the first 2 turns, despite having the Android 15 and 14 that discard and going second. So I drew an extra card, drew with my leader swing, searched top 5, drew another card next turn. Also, I got life taken. Drew another card next turn, searched my top, or drew off my leader swing and got another search top 5. So I went through a fair amount of cards in my deck and didn't see my Unison. Then turn 3 and 4, I ended up drawing between my Awakening and my Ape and my Unison that I saw. I ended up drawing all 4 of 18 and 17, so my hand was very, very brickish. And when Amani started picking it apart, I had to start dropping the androids, but he was already seeing how weak my hand was. Just the way that I tried to dig out of it, and I do understand that me monkeying on 2 energy was a misplay because it showed him exactly how weak my hand was. And he knows me. He knows that if I had the Unison on turn 2, I'm generally going to play it against Cooler to get my, to go up 15 and leave myself available to Sensu, my leader, to stop myself from getting pushed in. So Amani, just being one of my most prevalent testing partners, he knows exactly how I play. He understood exactly how weak my hand was by the way I wasn't playing, and he was able to capitalize that because that's what good players do. So yeah, he toasted me. I mean, I guess it wasn't kind of a toast. He was at 1 life. Another turn would have been bad, but I didn't survive that other turn. So yeah, Amani was able to do what Amani is able to do, and so he gave me my first loss. Now, round 3, I faced the Gamma Mirror. It was John Skolznik. Look, it sounds Russian or Ukrainian. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name, but he's a Hermit style boy. It was really cool to meet him. It was really cool to play him. Our match was Gamma versus Gamma, and you'll see that the Gamma Mirror match is a lot of floodgating because you don't have proper responses to each other's floodgates unless you side like God Sealing on your turn. There's some other techs, but I'll get into those later because I want to spill the spice unless people start putting it all out. But we went back and forth, and the one thing that was kind of annoying was that we played a fairly back and forth game. Like, he was getting some stuff on me, I was getting into his life, but the main difference is I was not able to find a single one of my 4 cells. I died on his turn 7 with my 6 energy, and I had resolved 3 androids from energy, which is, if you think about it, top 6, because you flip the top card of your life and you check the top 5. I resolved 3 androids, and I resolved 3 monkeys, and I died at 2 life, and I had not seen a single cell. Now, it's always he said, she said, but, or, you know, if this didn't happen, if that didn't happen, but I do feel, that's where I am a little salty. I do feel like if I had seen even 1 cell, wiping his board 1 time would have made it so that I at least had cards to play. Like, I could keep more cards in hand, because we went to his turn 7 and I wasn't able to wipe his board once. And he selled me 2 times, but he also had another sell in energy. So I always had to build from scratch with my board, and he always had his board left over minus the things I could get rid of with Realm of the Gods and or my dual color androids. So it's unfortunate, but it is the way the game works. Sometimes even when a card's a 4 of and you're searching and drawing, it's just not how it is. None of the cells were in my life. They were all in my deck. My deck had like 14 cards left in it. So sometimes it'd be what it is. But shout outs to Hermit Style. It was really cool to meet you, John, and it was really cool to play you. So the next one I played, that was 2 losses. I had 1 win, 2 losses, and that's a terrible way to start off a tournament. It feels really bad. Round 4, I faced Mecha Frieza. That is Tyler. And Tyler said this is his first regional, but he was going in with Mecha Frieza. Now, being the first regional, I do think plays were a little bit slow. But to be completely fair, when he dropped Dark Banisher Fu and Supreme Kai in the same turn, that was a power play. In fact, I gotta give it to Tyler. Time ended with me having more life, and I did have cards to defend in hand, but I was going to have to remove most of my hand to survive the turn, and I was able to put a revenge blocker down. And the worst part though is to attack, I was gonna have to give up life. So if he pressed me down to 2 life, or maybe even 4 life, it would have been unsafe for me to swing on him to do so. And I can't remember if he had the last turn or I had the last turn, but what I do know is like, I gotta give it to Tyler. It's his first regional, he's playing a rogue deck. If like he played a little bit faster, I do believe that he would have, like, I can't tell you who would have won that one, because that turn was super hairy. He got me in a very good pincer, and yes, I had a hand, and yes, I had life, but between Dark Banisher Fu forcing me to warp and Supreme Kai of Time next turn forcing me to kill life just by swinging, there's no guarantee that I would have been able to push through damage. Chances are I might not have been. So congratulations, Tyler. You're just literally moments away from being able to pull out more wins, and that's just going to come with more play. Play more, make the plays more concise, and look, you would have given me my 3rd L, and the tournament would have been drastically different than me. I think that probably was the case, because I'm going through, it's a little like fuzzy, but I'm going through it, and I'm like, I don't think I could kill you the next turn, and I don't think I would have survived with all of my life after your turn. So I think you would have finished the turn with me being around like 4 life to your like 5 or whatever it was. I think you would have still had like 1 or 2 more life than me, and I can't swing under Supreme Kai without giving you more life advantage. So I think you had that off of time rules if we just had a little bit more time. Round 5, I faced GT Trio, and I faced Jason Coppola. It's really, really cool to see, once again, a name that I see online all the time. That was really, really fun. GT, I still kind of feel like GT is kind of a weaker version of U7, because late game they kind of operate the same, but early game, GT I feel like is very prone to Sensu. I feel like it's a lot easier for me to defend myself from GT than it is from U7, because U7, yes, Frieza and 17 can be let the battle begin. They can be sensued only when you're awakened. But at the same time, once they establish that unison, whether it be Baby or Jiren, it just becomes so much harder for you. That unison is hard. Both unisons can be hard to clear. They both protect themselves. It's rough. And then Vidal's online. You got the Goku counterplay. You can play 30Ks, and those 30Ks can get destroyed on play. So I think that's just a really, really rough bit to be in. But I was able to pretty much just hit the floodgates. The way I play Gamma, I only played 3 of the Topo, and that's because, or 3 of the Android 14. Sorry, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you, Super Fun Games. I'm going to use the actual names. I only use 3 of the Android 14s because I don't like relying on it, because Topo hate is in most decks, but, or Floodgate hates. But basically, I was able to resolve like 2 of them, and then he wasn't able to see his resolve renewed, which was unfortunate. And then past that, though, when he was able to play boss cards, I was able to hit him with the Dirty Burst. And that allowed me to pretty much seal the game. I sold him like twice, and it just kind of stabilized. So that was unfortunate, but Gamma has a pretty good red matchup. The next round was round 6, Cooler versus Chad Duncan. Dude has been so funny in my Discord, and I've seen him online too. So again, it was just really, really cool to actually meet him in person. We had a good game. The thing though is, like I said, Cooler is my most tested matchup with Gamma, and Amani and Nick play Cooler in a much more aggressive fashion. I'll see a lot of players with Cooler playing, you know, the Whis Unison and try to lean more into hand destruction, and it just doesn't work against Gamma, especially because in my current sideboard, I would side in the Android 18 Limitless Energy, and so there were turns where I'd Monkey. There was a turn where, since he couldn't get rid of my board, he couldn't play Frieza without leaving himself completely open to my next turn. So I was able to just literally play Android 13 or Android 18 for 2 draws, and then remove Monkey for 2 draws, and then just swing with my Unison, the Android 18, you know, the leader, and then just draw 2, or as I in my turn and draw another one. So I went through like 6 cards total. My turn, Monkey, Android 18, and the end of the turn. And it was just kind of like, at that point, I felt like he kind of knew that he wasn't getting through because I was just drawing mad cards. There was no way to hand control me at that point. So shout outs to Chad. Yeah. And Chad, you're going to get better too. Like, for real, for real. I think that was one of his like earlier times playing the deck too. Yeah. It's going to be good. We're all going to get there. Don't worry about it. And then you've got round 7. We played U7 Goku versus Jeff. And like I said, we have a really, really good, Gamma has a really, really good red matchup. Mainly because you're able to let the battle begin some of the early threats, and if you can establish your unison and let the battle begin, you're going to be able to stop their early game pressure. If they stop their early game pressure, it's going to move into the mid game, late game, where you're going to Dougie on them. And if you're at that point, all you really have to do is hold Dirty Burst. The worst they can do is wipe your field, and that doesn't count your 17s with barrier if it's the Goku, which they don't play all often as much, or it's Vegeta, and if you Dirty Burst Vegeta, they have to just remove it. And like I said, like when he played his SCR and removed it to ping me, I literally was at 6 life. I just dropped a 5 and I was like, hey. So that is what that is. It just got Dirty Bursted, and then he had to remove it because he wasn't trying to like have it stay on the field doing nothing. So that is very, very strong. There wasn't too much to say about that matchup. It's just, like I said, red matchup pretty good with this one. Round 8, I played against Sin, Earl Toledo, and that was a back and forth match. The match went on a little bit longer than expected. But at the end, I did have more life and more battle cards. It just kind of became a tap 6, and I would sell and try to press, and then over into the next turn. Yeah, time ran its thing. You have a deck that's trying to get to turn 6, and a deck that literally can play in the late game. A blue deck versus a yellow deck. Those games are going to be long. So I mean, we both should have probably played a little bit like shorter. I tried to say time was coming without saying time was coming, because I feel like a little bit of a jerk when I'm just like, hey, yo, play faster. But there was like sometime in the later like third of the game where I was like, hey, we're probably running up on time. And I don't know if I should have been more firm on that, or if I should have just like been like, hey, I think we're getting close to time, or hey, do you want to play faster? Because I'm just like, there's a point where I could be like, hey, like it's advantageous for the game to end for me if we play at this speed. But I just tried to leave it at, hey, we're probably running up on time soon. We actually did end up running up on time. Then we are at round 9. I faced Trunks Jita. Shoutouts to Amani for playing Daryl's deck at the crib for a couple of matches to beat me with Trunks Jita, so I could understand a little bit more how to play against it. I played against Sean Bartley. It was a very, very spirited match. I mean, first off, we were very, very jovial. We were able to just talk and joke throughout the entire thing because it was just like fun. And I do respect that. Even when it's the 9th round and one person is probably going to get their winning in, the other person may not. Even though some X3s did get in, you'd have to have some massive tiebreakers. I think it was really cool to be able to just talk and joke around with Sean. The ending of the match was very unfortunate, mainly because it did go to time, but he made a shotgun. And I normally try to make it so that my first 4 are like this, and my second life are like this, and I was at 5 life, so it was like this. And I was talking to one of the Hill twins, and they said that from one angle, it did look like I had 4 life, but from another angle, he could see that I had 5 life. From Sean's angle, it looked like I had 4 life, is what I am understanding. And so he shotgunned close to the end of the game to put me down at 2 to his 3. I had 5 life, and I'm not gonna lie, the conviction in Sean's eyes had me sweating. Like, I thought I was losing the game to time rules when he comboed out. I was like looking at my hand, I was like, I can't match that. Like, I had to take it. I sat there, I was like, oh man, like this sucks. Like, and it really did. Like, I could not out combo it, so I took it. And then Eddie came over. Eddie was judging. He said time's over. Chris wins, and I was confused. But then I realized I had 5 life. So yeah, I had 5 life. I went down to 3. And so it wasn't me lower on life. It was me tied with life. And I had like 3 more battle cards on the board than he did. So, unfortunately, like, time just did its thing. But I really did think that he put me at 1 less life and I lost in time. And it just turned out that we were tied. So I apologize. In the future, because of this, I will try to make sure that my life is more apparent. I know it's on both players. Like, you can ask how much life do you have, but I also don't want it to come down to something like that. Like, I thought I made it clear enough, but I will make it more clear. So yeah, that is actually my whole tournament report for Gen Con. I hope you guys liked the video. I had a really good time. Once again, shout out to PPG for hosting a good tournament. Shout out to everybody for doing their thing. And hopefully I can show you guys some more stuff this competitive season, because I am so not done yet. So thanks, and I will see you guys next time. Later.